Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here again. I hope you're all enjoying your summer break. My name is Oroma, and in my team of presenters with me today, I have Amandeep, I have Brahmandeep, I have Jacob, I have Hussein, and I have Kehinde. And we all will be taking you through an exciting presentation. We'll be talking about a case of the Just Us community-based tourism. Now, ever heard of the word that says non-verbal communication is 12.5 times more powerful than words? Having said this, we'll be looking at the case of Just Us community-based tourism. And Just Us, which is a well-known company that is certified on organic products and the first fair Canada roast coffee. It's known for its social and environmental activities. Now we'll be analyzing how well Just Us collaborated and effectively communicated for a good productivity. Having said this, I would hand over to Amandeep, who will take you on the next slide of this presentation to talk more about Just Us and how well they effectively communicated. Thank you.
Thank you, Aroma. And this is Amandeep Kaur, and I'm going to talk about some of the communication strategies. I have listed few here, which are collaboration, creativity, and persuasion. First comes collaboration. Collaboration is nothing but a working practice when a group of people come together and contribute their expertise for the benefit of a shared object, project, or a mission. Collaboration enables individuals to work together to achieve a defined and a common business purpose. For example, in case Satya has decided to devote a large portion of presentation meetings and discussions of 2009 and 2010 trip to be held in Oaxaca in Mexico, and just as has been collaborated with the CBT, which are community-based tourism, to organize all the trips for Justus. So this is how Justus and CBT collapse together to achieve the benefit of the project. And next comes creativity. Creativity is nothing but a tendency to generate or recognize ideas, alternatives, or possibilities that may be useful in solving problems, communicating with others, and so on. But in order to be creative, you need to be able to view things in a new way or a different perspective. Among other things, you need to be able to generate new possibilities or new alternatives. For example, in case a development coordinator of Justice Satya Raman has planned to show some short videos and photos from the last trip to show how the participants have been a part of a mission delivery process. She also present a part of a financial analysis of 2009 trip budget in a triple bottom line format than a normal type. So this shows that Satya has been used creativity to show the people the outcomes of the trip so that they can attract new people towards justice. Last but not the least, persuasion. Persuasion comes Persuasion communication is a type of communication that focuses on guiding or convincing its audience to adopt certain ideas, actions, or attitude. But an effective persuasive communicator has the capacity to influence others to act in a particular way, also in a concerned way. For example, in case the Jude's AGM would take place during the Canada's National Fair Trade Weeks, and Satya knew that there will be a lot of people from different countries be presented in Canada. So she decided to have a screening of a movie called Black Gold. The movie basically portrays the flight of 74,000 utopian farmers who, despite growing the best quality of coffee in the international market, faces the bankruptcy on regular basis. But it also portrays that the movie also portrays that efforts of them find buyers willing to pay for the fair price. So by doing this, she is basically trying to convince or pursue people and to convey her message to the audience to choose jutes among the other products. She is basically trying to convey the message that always there's the best looking thing in the world is not good for the long term, and just as has many as we all know, just as has many competitors in the industry, Satya has decided to hold a screening to convey her message to the audience to choose jutes among the other products. So that's all for my part. Now Hussein is going to take over the presentation.
Thank you, Mandeep. Now let's talk more about business communication. For an effective business communication, adaptability is the core point. As we have seen in these days, business world has completely changed. It's not just about presenting your idea in a simple PowerPoint presentation. For that, now you have to think out of the box. Companies have come up with such solutions with critical and creative ideas which promote their agenda. And this is exactly the same case in our case studies, where Justice has created a non-profit organization, Judas, and tasked it to arrange such educational activities or fun activities where they will be promoting the agenda of their parent company, Justice. And we have seen Judas has partnered with different organizations. They have conducted some tourism activities which promote the ideology of the justice. They showed with their activities why fair trade is important and how the most good products are created and why these farmers deserve a fair trade. So for that purpose, Judas has arranged all these activities, expressed their ideas in a way so in the end, when they present all these activities to their stakeholders, they can connect with them and they can show them that they have created these activities to present the ideology which Justice promoted. Now let's talk about the other points of an effective business communication. For an effective business communication, you have to provide a practical information, factual message, and compelling recommendations so that your stakeholders can connect with you. When they see the evidences, they will believe you and they will be more connected with you. In that way, you can communicate better with your audience. In our case study, we have seen that Satya had tasked to arrange an annual meeting where she had to make such good communication strategies, keeping in mind different audiences, so she can connect with them and she can explain the idea that all these activities showed. We have seen that Judas has arranged many activities, and one of the highlighted activity in the case study was Judah tourism opportunities. In these tourism opportunities, it is all about giving the authentic experience to the tourists so they can understand the culture, they perform all those activities there, and in the end, they realize that how these farmers work very hard and they deserve a fair trade. Judas has arranged so many activities over the year, like in Mexico. And Satya's task was to present all these information, all this collected data over the year in a way so her stakeholders will connect with her. And in the end, the ideology that Justice promoted can be conveyed. So this is all from my side. Now my friend Jacob will take over the presentation. Over to you, Jacob.
Thank you, Hussein. In this section, let's have a look at collaborative working and productivity. Most successful organizations rely on well-coordinated teams, with each person doing their part to complete critical projects and to achieve the organizational goals. Best performing teams communicate often in a timely manner. The most single factor that causes team failure is the lack of ability to communicate effectively. Another common barrier to team performance is unnecessary conflicts. A key strength for a good team member is the ability to reduce or eliminate some of the common sources of conflicts. For a team to be successful, all team members need to agree on key elements at the beginning of the project. Newly formed teams should focus on the process issues. The team should agree on how they will work together to achieve the organizational goals. When a team comes to an agreement, it is a good idea to create a document based on the agreements. It should be clear, concise, listing all team members and how will they actively participate in the project. It should cover goals, performance expectations, meeting, timelines, and quality of work. And it also should specify the frequency and the amount of communication that is to take place during the entire phase of the project. Now, let's relate this section to a case study. Planning for a trip was quite complicated for Jutes, Satya and his team. Meeting environmental guidelines was not at all easy and it was very difficult. For instance, the residents of Chayapattic had identified waste as an environmental impact of visitors to the community. Waste management was different in Mexico compared to North America. Waste was stored centrally in town and collected only few times a year. Recycling and disposal facilities for hazardous waste such as batteries were not at all common in Mexico. For Satya and his team to overcome these obstacles, they need a collaborative style of working. All the team members, including Satya and all the participants, need to agree on key elements such as how to minimize the waste at the beginning of the project. The team should agree on how will they work together to achieve the organizational goal by minimizing the waste. So they can do this by making an agreement by not littering around the community, minimizing or eliminating the use of plastic boxes, bags, etc., and bringing refillable water bottles instead of using plastic water cans. And they can also use recyclable batteries and not dispose it in the community. In this way of collaborative working, Jude's organizational goal will be achieved. Now, let's have a look at the 4 stages of team development. The first stage is the forming stage, in which the individuals will be unsure of the team's purpose and how they will fit in, or whether they'll be able to work with one another. The next stage is the storming stage. People start to push against the established boundaries. Conflicts arise at this stage and people's preferred way of working conflict with each other. The norming stage resolve their differences, respect each other's strength and weakness, and work together as a team. They ask help and offer constructive feedback. Share a strong commitment to the team goal and make good progress. The last stage is the performing stage. It is a stage in which the team is in full flow and perform to the full potential to achieve the goal efficiently. Well, that's it from my side, and I would like to pass it to Ramandeep. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. I am Ramandeep Kaur, and now I am going to talk about how to deliver an effective message. First and foremost thing to keep in your mind is that you should try to try to deliver your message clearly and confidently. Be clear exactly what ideas you are trying to express or the message you are trying to convey to other person or group. What do you most want them to understand? For instance, as Jutes educated the public on the value of organic and fair trade certified products. Always try to keep your message simple, clear, and digestible. Include an example. Second is factual descriptions and relevant details are more likely to be heard, as in the case study Satya tried to do in a well-mannered way, as she decided to measure some economic, social, and environmental factors. And you should always ask yourself, does what I am saying make sense? Does the feedback I am receiving make sense? When both parties in the conversation are truly able to say they understand or that it makes sense, clear and effective communication is a must have competency. Always target to decide when and how often to deliver your message. Next one is repetition. Use it respectfully to keep things on track because conversation can easily get off track. In other words, we can say an equally effective way to make sure others understand exactly what you are communicating is to ask them to repeat back their interpretation of what has been said or asked to them in order to guarantee the results or reaction you want. You need to make sure that your audience can give you a clear explanation of what is being required of them. The last but not the least is non-verbal messages. In this, be aware of your non-verbal messages as you are about your verbal messages. Also, consider other people's communication style. Make sure to also take into account their filters, assumptions, and beliefs. This will help you to keep your message clear. Thank you. That's all for my section. Now Edley is going to take over the presentation.
Thank you to all my colleagues that have spoken. Now I'll be making the conclusion on how to make a successful business communication. While trying to make a successful business communication, it typically requires us to be goal-oriented, and the goal may be required of us to instruct, to inform, to persuade in order to reach an agreement. To achieve the goal, communication and the audience of the team member is very important. While trying to make an effective business communication, I have some few characteristics here that can help us, which involves professionalism, analyze, and evaluate. Don't forget that professionalism is very important in anything we're doing, especially while trying to make an effective business communication. Try to analyze, try to discuss among the group member, and try to assign rules accordingly. And at the end of the presentation, always try to evaluate it in order to know whether it is an effective one or not. I'll be moving to the next slide. We talked about collaboration, productivity, and delivering an effective message. While trying to make an effective communication, don't forget that effective meetings is very important. Make sure that the team members are always present and available in order to discuss the roles, in order to assign roles to each members. And don't forget that leadership skills is going to help a lot by trying to make a collaboration, productivity, and delivering an effective message. Conflict management is the last, which is very important. Make sure that the team members respect each other and make sure that they come in agreement with whatsoever they have to do. I'll be talking about the last point, which talks about the effective communication. Effective communication should not be left out while trying to make a collaboration, productivity, and delivering an effective message. I have these few key elements that can assist in trying to make an effective communication. I hope you have learned one or two things from this module, and I hope you'll be able to make use of it while trying to make your presentation. Thank you to all my group members. Thank you to everyone. Thank you for your presentations, and I hope we can see you once again. Thank you so much, and bye.